Good afternoon and welcome to the Hoffman Evergreen Preserve in Stonington. This is the trailhead right off of Route 201, and I was last here 2 years ago in August 2019. So today is August 6th. So I just happened to come to the Hoffman Preserve 2 days before the timber harvest is supposed to start, and I'm guessing will dramatically change how this place looks. So I guess this is preserving what it looked like before. So let's see how it compares. Here the trail splits between the red and the blue. Got a little description of the habitat and whatnot. I think this map is actually outdated. There's now a orange trail here, and they've gotten rid of the pine circle. I'm guessing that will be pretty heavily harvested. We're gonna take the red trail, the blue trail back, stop at Bennett Yard, and work our way back to the parking area. Right away you obviously notice that it's much more open. This used to be a deep shady hemlock forest, and now we've got some early succession plants in there that love the sunlight. Going to turn off the red trail and onto the newly, at least in 2019, added orange loop. This is what I remember the orange trail looking like, and this is a good portion of it, at least in the short term. Got this old stone foundation here. Just speculation, but based on the size and shape, the foundation for animal barn shed pen. And then just uphill from that pen is this root cellar. Appears to be collapsing just a bit, but good sized little chamber that has a good amount of room. I believe the technique of the layering stones is called corbelling, and it doesn't look like there's any mortar or anything holding any of the rocks together. It's probably just the weight of the largest upper stones that is keeping all of this together. Finishing up the orange loop and hopping onto the red. The Hoffman Evergreen Preserve is about 200 acres, and there's something like 4.5 miles of trails. The preserve was donated by Robert Hoffman to what was then the Mashantucket Land Trust, today the Avalonia Land Conservancy. He donated 145 acres that he had owned for a long time, and he planted something like 100,000 pine saplings over the years that he owned the property. So I'm guessing that a number of the trees that were thinned were planted by him. Coming down to a trail junction, and one of the things the Avalonia Land Conservancy does well, particularly at this property, is putting maps at trail junctions. We've got red heading off in 3 directions here, so we know that we're right there. All these blue marks, mean trees, are gonna come down. And there are lots of blue marks. Thanks, David. Coming around the backside of the Blue Loop now, and even though I was prepared and expecting the difference on the trails with the forest management, it's still pretty striking and surprising to actually experience it. You have some semblance of the old trails with, you know, tall pines and a cushy pine needle bed, and then you contrast it with newly roughed up forest to create some fresh habitat, which is important. And I guess just the contrast between the two, which is the point of this movie, is pretty interesting. Now reach the main stretch of the Blue Trail, which I'm pretty sure I read is an old colonial road, evidenced by these colonial slab bridges. Not quite sure what they are. This is the former Pine Circle. Here we're about to do the Pine Circle, which is this. One of the major features of the property is Bennett Yard, which is an old cemetery. Got a number of plain stone slabs. Some of them have names and inscriptions. This one dates to 1839. 1829, 1824, 1819, well, I was hoping to catch the big beech and well that are marked on the yellow trail, but it's kind of fitting because I missed them in 2019 also. So I think that about wraps up this comparison hike of the Hoffman Evergreen Preserve. And that was, I guess, for you seeing it now, the old Hoffman Preserve. And here's to the next Robert Hoffman, who's planting the next 100,000 pine saplings. See you next time.